Welcome to the Shout Out with Sage show. Shout Out with Sage.
Shout me out.
And that's all I gotta say. So shout out and let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Streaminn HUBB Radio. I'm your host, Sage Stevens of Shout Out with Sage. And today, my guest was inspired by his own personal health journey, and he set out on a mission to help people hydrate better and recover quicker with flavorful, alkaline, 10 pH functional water that supports the immune system, digestive health, and recovery with essential trace minerals. Soul Talks is an all-natural hydration and recovery water made for your mind, body, and soul that has a 10 plus pH level. Today on Shout Out with Sage, I want to welcome creative entrepreneur Vinny Morel. Hey, Vinny, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Sage?
I'm good. So we met during Oscar week at the GBK gifting suite. And that's where I sampled Soul Talks. And for someone like myself, I have my own health issues. Won't get into all those things. But I did find it very beneficial. I felt calmer. I felt more relaxed. How did you end up creating this brand?
Yeah, it's actually kind of an interesting story. So, back in 2016, 17, I was in and out of the hospital dealing with some health issues. And at that time, I actually had an apparel line going, and we were working, making apparel for NBA teams. And it was one of those situations.
What were you making for NBA teams?
Apparel. We were making apparel for NBA
like
teams.
Shirts and hats and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then I was approached to do a line of CBD products at the time, and we just so happened to have a CBD water in the mix. And with everything that was going on with the FDA and ingestibles not being legal, I decided that, you know what, ain't no point in sitting here and waiting. Let's just remove the CBD and come out with a line of wellness beverages that people could use. Little did I know that would change my life forever. So, we started out with a dark version while we were doing some enhancing to the clear water.
Okay.
But
sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you. The dark version is because of the fulvic. Yeah, can you explain? Is that why it's dark?
No.
Why is it dark? I want to know why.
Fulvic and humic trace minerals.
Right. Okay.
So the humic, which is dark in nature, when it enters water, it naturally starts turning brown like a tea, which is why our dark water looks like a tea. And then the fulvic side, which is gold in color, which is why our clear water is called fulvic gold. It has more of a clear look to it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So then let's go back to where I interrupt you. You were saying that you were developing the clear.
Yeah, so we started with the dark, and then we started to notice that people were having a hard time understanding why water looks dark. So I was like, you know what, we're going to have to make a change. We're going to have to come up with a clear version. So it took us about 9 months to get through everything. And throughout the whole process, I did notice that my stomach started to change. So while I was in and out of the hospital, I was actually, they were giving me different prescription medicines every month to try. So in essence, I was kind of like a lab dummy.
Yes,
so I was like, well, if I'm over here and be a lab dummy for all these doctors and these pharmaceutical companies, let me go over here and try this on my water. And lo and behold, my stomach started to change. And
plus you're using healthy things, right? Like not all these pharmaceutical chemical stuff, right?
Yeah. So what I end up doing is I end up taking myself off the prescription drugs because I wanted to see which one it was. And the water ended up being the one that was causing my stomach to change for the better. And I remember going to the doctors and I was telling him, I don't take prescription drugs no more. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He's like, what are you doing? You're not going to get better. And I was like,
I've
actually,
had
I
the
know
same
better.
experience. I'm like, let's try and find an alternative that's a little more healthy. If I need to come back to this as a last resort, fine. But it's like let's try and find something better.
Yeah, it's like there's always a better option out there. I think most people just don't know that it's out there. It exists.
Mhm.
Um, and with our water, most people don't even know about fulvic or humic trace minerals and what it actually does to your gut.
Mm.
Let alone I had acid reflux,
Okay.
um, along with they tried to say I had IBS and everything else
Right. Right.
in my stomach. But I do know for sure the acid reflux, it went away quickly, and so did a lot of other symptoms and issues I was having with my gut. So I was at the point where I was like, you know what? I think there's a lot of people out there struggling with gut health issues and stomach issues,
Mm.
and this is something that they need to know about. And once we got it rocking and rolling in our production, um, ran into another curveball with the California FDA. Uh,
Okay. Got it.
just happened to be a blessing in disguise, because at first I was mad because I was like, how
Right.
do we
They were like trying to inhibit you, right?
yeah, we got hit with an embargo on December 15th of last year. Now keep
Okay.
in mind, nobody even knew that we were even doing our first trial production.
Mm.
And they hit us with that, and then next thing you know, we're on a call with like 4 scientists, investigators, and organic specialists, and we're going through this whole process. But it ended up being, like I said, a blessing in disguise, because once they understood what we were doing and how we got some of our science involved and our team, then it turned to, okay, you know what? You can make this water, and here's some ways and things that you need to do to fix, your
Yeah.
labels and stuff like that, and then
To
how you.
suit what the FDA needs you to have on something that we're going to consume, correct?
Yes. So they worked with us. We fixed our labels. Everything is right. And now we're ready to go to market. And we don't have to worry about that. We still communicate with them here and there on new stuff that we're working on. And I think that at this point, now it's just a matter of people realizing what we have and what this water can do. And, hopefully we'll get it in our hands sooner than later.
What exactly is pH, and why is having like a high pH good? I mean, I see it in a lot of brands right now, like, you know, uh, over 8 is supposed to be good for you. Do you want to explain that for us?
Yeah, so typically on the pH scale, I guess the easiest way to explain it, the lower your pH, the more you're acidic, prone to diseases and whatnot. And the higher the pH, you're less likely to get sick or diseases. That's just based on some science and what doctors and nutritionists and people are saying, all this you can find on the internet. So I tell everybody, don't always take someone's word for it.
Right.
Go do the research yourself. The same with fulvic trace minerals, what's in our product, all this you can find on the internet. And we just try to play in an area where you have a lot of alkaline product brands that are 9.5 plus minus below. Everybody's kind of floating,
Mhm.
and we try to keep ours at the 10 pH level.
And so 10 will keep your body like in a state where it shouldn't be getting sick, or is it a preventative measure?
It just works with our product. Everybody is 10. How does I say this? All alkaline brands are not created equal.
Okay.
So for what we're doing with the 10 pH and our minerals and the way we do our flavors, our formula, it works well with each other.
Okay.
So I can't really speak too much on other people's 10 pH brands or
Right,
the
right.
lower. I just know what works with ours, and that's the main thing. You got a product that actually works.
So what health issues were you like dealing with that made you, I mean, you did touch on them a little bit before, but like what over, and how long did you suffer from that for?
You want to know the scariest one or the
I guess the scariest one.
Yeah, the scariest one, and this one it freaked me out a few times. It was with the acid reflux. So there was a couple of times where it got really bad, and I would wake up in my sleep choking,
Oh, wow.
and and sometimes they would be like short short moments of it. And then the scariest one was like, it was like 20 some seconds and I couldn't catch my breath. And I was sitting there and I was like, you get to that point, you're kind of like thinking like, man, this might be it. Like I can't breathe. And it makes
breathing's a little important.
Yeah. It quickly makes you realize we take breathing for granted. Just getting the air.
Well, I suffer from respiratory things. So, certain smells or candles bother me. So I'm very well acquainted with that feeling where you're like, this is sort of important. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like one of the scariest moments. It happened several times. Then having to go to the ER to try to figure out what's going on is just going to happen again. Not being able to go to sleep after that. Literally, I was scared to go to sleep.
And that was all caused from acid reflux?
Yeah.
Like for not breathing? Okay, I never realized that could happen.
I didn't either. Until you wake up in the middle of your sleep choking. Yeah, so yeah, it was because with that they had to they put wires down my nose that was sitting in my stomach, so I had to sleep with those. From the test alone, I think the eating eggs with radiation was crazy because they're sitting there bubbling and it's in there, and they was like, you got to eat the whole thing, and you want to throw up, but you can't throw up, and they telling you that, and it's just like, man, that was a tough process to get through that bowl. And then there was a whole host of other tests and things that I had to go through. I literally saw 7 GI specialists.
Okay. And through all that, how did you come about discovering what was going to help you? Like, how did you find the water and all that?
Well, the water came about when we were, so he's actually now my good friend, so kind of like my big brother, Jerry. The water came about when we were working on this, and he was like, hey, I got this mineral water, and I was looking at it kind of crazy. But next to it, he was like, you should try it with the CBD water. So when we had our CBD water ready to go, and then we started playing with them both, and then it was just like, okay, there's something going on here from a health and wellness standpoint that I can't explain. And so as I started to take more and more of it, that's when I started to notice, okay, it's changing my gut and my stomach. And then it just came down to research. What can we do from a branding standpoint, marketing standpoint, to create something that people will want to look at, try, and also see what real health benefits they can get from this. And that's what kind of led us down this journey that we're on.
What were some of the other big hurdles you had? So we had the FDA embargo. What other things did you have to, jump over to get it to market?
Oh my God. There's a long list of hurdles and things I've jumped over. One of them being that being a minority-owned business, I look at when I jump into products, I look at how other brands are positioned, how other minority brands, Black-owned brands are positioned. And one thing I did notice on most retail shelves, even the ones that we're in talks with, is that there are no Black-owned water brands that I know or that I see, and or the stores that I go to, and they had no answer. There's just no answer. It's not like, I don't think they're out there. It's just a matter of, are they not getting in front of the buyers, or do they not have the resources to go play in that space, or is literally somebody just buying up the shelf space and making it very hard for other brands to get on the shelf. So for me, trying to knock down those doors and create opportunities for others to follow in, I think it's key. There's so many things that we can do creatively and create options and opportunities for others to not only make wellness products, but also do it in a cool way.
How are you expanding the brand now?
Got a lot of big plans. I'm super excited about rolling out our new Clearwater. It officially launches during Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
We did team up with Resort World Vegas, so we're super excited about that. Giving me some opportunities to go have fun in Vegas while we're giving out water and let people try it. So that kicks off next month, May 1st. Got a couple of new brand extensions coming. We're working on a cold pressed juice, Soul Talks cold pressed juice. So that's been a kind of like almost a year in the making with a friend of mine's company here in California. So that'll be coming out hopefully in the next month. And we'll be debuting it hopefully on our official launch over Memorial Day weekend. And then we're also working on another brand extension, which is a mushroom pectin vegan gummy for immunity. There's one for energy, and then there's one for sleep.
Okay. So wait, describe that a vegan. Wait, say that all again for me.
So it's a mushroom gummy that's vegan, and it's pectin based, which is the formulation made behind the gummy. The same guys who I teamed up with on some CBD, we became friends actually, and he got into the vegan gummies, and man, our goal is, like I said, and his goal is how do we help change people's lives, and that's still been the same from when we started back then till now. And I always want to kind of do a gummy, but I just didn't want to do any old gummy. Like I want to do something that actually has some true benefits that fit within the Soul Tox line of removing toxins, not only from the inside of your body, but it's also about removing toxins from the outside, everyday influences that are toxic to you, which is basically what Soul Tox is about.
Okay. And when you say mushrooms, you mean what exactly?
Not the psychedelic.
Dang it.
Yeah. We don't do the psychedelic.
You're talking like lion's mane or those type of mushrooms, right?
Yeah. So once the packaging gets done, we're still doing some tweaks to the label, but once that gets done, we'll have it up online. We have a lot of ambassadors already waiting for them, so we'll be getting it out shortly, and we're excited to see what they do and how people like them. And for those people who really want to explore, there is a what's the word I'm looking for? An intimate version of the mushroom gummy coming. Also, it'll be out a little later, but they are working on that formulation. So I'm kind of curious to see how that goes.
Okay. And when you say intimate, you're referring to like in the bedroom, or like what do you mean? Or like,
yeah, I would say, you take it, 30 to 60 minutes before a loved one comes over, or someone, a significant other, whatever, or whatever people's, they
right. I understand. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So it will help you in a romantic situation, is what you're saying.
There you go.
Right. Okay. So are you based here in LA, or where is the business from exactly?
Yeah, we're based here in LA. Everything's ran out of here with the exception of our vegan gummy manufacturer, which is based in Vegas. They have an FDA facility out there. So other than that, everything's here. Is run out of here. Most of our influencers are here local, or they're coming from some other place. So yeah, LA is home.
I read that, like you were saying, that there's not a lot of minority-owned water companies like on the shelves, and you're helping. So are you helping those specific companies or other companies that are minority-owned?
We're working on some strategic partnerships. Not only that within the community, but also in other cities. So those are slowly being put up in place. So as we begin to roll out and expand to different regions, we do plan on working with programs not only to encourage new entrepreneurs, show them ways in which they can create opportunities, not only with products, whether it be apparel or online. We just want to be a part of helping people grow, which I think is the main thing here. A lot of people don't want to necessarily go work 9 to 5 these days.
Right.
It seems like it's getting harder and harder. So, but there's so many opportunities out here for people, and they just need to know where the resources are.
Right. What's your biggest advice to someone who's starting a business or wants to start, especially in the health and wellness industry where you are?
Have patience. Everything is not going to come easy. Sometimes people see they see everything on the outside. Everything looks good, but when you like peel the onion back, you start seeing like the real obstacles and things that entrepreneurs face, and whether it's with funding or whether it's with marketing or just not having certain resources. It is a grind. You got to be prepared to work like every day.
Right.
You hear this saying all the time, there's no days off. There's no days off. Whether you're working with your website online, you're doing Amazon, or you're doing trade shows, or whatever the case may be. It's a constant grind, and you just gotta have patience because it is a true roller coaster ride. Like one minute you think you're on a big time high, and the next minute that can come crashing down the very next day, or that same day. So you just got to be prepared for how things fluctuate.
What did you do before Soul Talks? Like, what was your job?
Oh, you mean my other life?
Yeah, in your other life before you became a creative entrepreneur.
Yeah. So coming, I was actually we did apparel.
Right.
We've been doing apparel. So I've been involved with the NBA world since 2002.
Okay.
Back when I had a friend who played in the NBA. Well, I had a bunch of friends. And then I jumped into the apparel side just because I'm a creative. And, I wanted to kind of test myself and create and design things that people would wear and like, which has been one of these shirts I got on. I still wear my stuff. And then I've been doing the apparel, ever since. And then I was like, I quickly realized, you need more than just apparel. So as apparel was kind of going down, I've been through the first recession where we got all the POs canceled back in 2008. And then you kind of go through it a couple other times here and there, and you quickly realize you need more streams of revenue.
Right.
So I jumped from there, started working on entertainment, wrote a couple. We teamed up, created a superhero character that I'm super excited about. That'll you'll be seeing something come out in the coming months, or maybe
wow, that's amazing.
And
so will that be? Will that be? So you have a superhero. So is it going to be online? Is it a TV show, a film?
Well, we actually developed an animated TV series.
Okay.
And the little story behind that, we actually started back in 2019, and we were supposed to meet with Kobe Bryant and his team the week after he passed.
Oh, wow.
Thursday.
Okay.
And we end up giving him some time, obviously, but his former head of animation, Bob Bacon, which is a awesome guy who has a love for basketball, just like we do. He ended up meeting with us, and once he saw what we were doing, he kind of felt like this was something that he felt Kobe would want to do.
Right.
And he stayed on to help us develop the stories, the concepts, the animated series, and it turned out to be something amazing because I never got into writing
Yeah, I'm a
superhero
writer and
story.
I'm in that area, so I know how much work that takes. So that's why I'm very interested in all
Yeah,
of this. Yeah.
yeah, a year and a half of rewrites, edits, rewrites, edits, rewrites. But we got it to a point where um, I'm pretty excited about where it's going. And all we needed was some partners, and we found some partners. And so, like I said, if not during the NBA playoffs, there'll be some snippets coming up online. But we're expecting and excited about the next NBA season as we begin to showcase Johnny Buckets and what it can
Johnny
do.
Buckets,
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
cool. Who did you come up with the idea for Johnny Buckets, or it was a like how did that all develop?
Yeah, it started back with a friend of mine a while back, and we were both playing basketball. And it kind of came to the point where we was like, all right, we should do something. And with me coming from the NBA world, I had the relationships. So it was just like, all right, let's go make this happen. But it wasn't like something that just kind of happened overnight. Like everything, like I said earlier, takes patience because when you're dealing on the entertainment side,
Oh yes,
nothing's going to happen right then and there.
no, you definitely need patience in entertainment. In
Yeah, and
any
that was
business,
one of
but
the
definitely, but usually definitely in entertainment, yes.
yeah, and that was one of the things that Bob kept stressing. Like he's like, this is going to take some time. He's like, you think it's going to happen like within months or 6 months to a year? He's like, no, it's not. And he actually ended up being right. So
Yes,
but,
I would. Yes, definitely. Well, especially since it's animated, like so how did that like all come about? Like did you always want it to be animated or were you thinking it was going to be live action?
no, we knew it was going to be animated
Mhm.
out the gate. And
Okay.
typically, I think on the superhero stories, they start out on the comic side.
Right.
We went straight to the animated side, and then came back to the comic side, which was interesting within itself because we didn't have anything to write off of.
Mhm.
So I was basically coming up with ideas and stories along the way, and a lot of the story is actually based off of my childhood life. So it's like real experiences. We just tweak some things.
Yeah,
So,
you tweak you write what you know, they say, and you take that and then make it a little more exciting. Or sometimes we have exciting enough lives, but sometimes it needs a little help or a little redirection or whatever. So
yeah, I've experienced a lot
right.
in my childhood, so I have a lot to talk about, and it comes out definitely in Johnny Buckets.
Okay. So when should we be able to see that again? When's it coming out?
Animated series, not sure yet, but the comic sides, we're planning a partnership with Slam Magazine, which is a big online basketball magazine.
Oh,
So right now we're working on the first strips to be released online via Slam during the NBA playoffs. So they kick off like later this month
yeah.
and next month. I just don't know exactly
Yeah,
the day
the
they're
time.
going to release it online, but it is currently being worked on now. Trust me, I'll be jumping for joy when I go to see it on there, and all the other outlets that we plan on putting on. So there's a lot happening, but
Were you directly involved with like creating the look of the animation, like how the characters look and stuff, or did you sort of
yeah,
leave that? Okay.
yeah. I've been involved with the whole creative process, and we use a lot of my friends and people I know who love basketball to jump in and kind of help give ideas or tweaks. It was quite the experience. I'll tell you that. And the funny thing is, we even threw in some soul talks as his hydration drink.
Of course.
In
Well,
there.
you have to
So,
like,
gotta
yes,
put
of
that in
course
there.
you're gonna do that, right? Of course. So yeah, I love basketball. I grew up playing basketball, and plus, I was, I'm from Canada, which uh, James Naismith was the inventor of basketball, and he was
Mhm.
Canadian. So I've always had like, growing up playing it, I always, still have a love for it, even though I don't really play it these days. So
Yeah, you can always have a love for basketball.
right.
For me, it's a great sport to watch. especially during the playoffs.
Yes.
When things get intense, every game means something.
Right.
So.
Well, I like during playoffs, even in hockey, basketball, everything tends to move a little faster versus like baseball, which, I usually fall asleep. So,
I got friends that play baseball, so
I can play baseball. I mean, I play softball as a pitcher, but watching baseball is just like, it's a little painful for me.
I'm kind of in the same boat when it comes to that. I can watch baseball during the playoffs.
Yes, exactly.
I can go to maybe a game if at night. But
if you want to relax during the summer,
but I can't just sit there. I think I'll fall asleep if I sit there watching on TV. My love for baseball isn't the same for basketball and football.
Right. Was there a time when you were like developing the business of Soul Talks where like you came up to a decision that you were scared of or anything, or you weren't really sure how to make the right decision? How did you approach that?
The whole journey's scary. I mean, anytime you go on this roller coaster and you don't know what turns are coming, or if there's a drop off.
It's like FDA embargo's coming after you.
Yeah, right. It's like walking in the dark, right? And you're trying to feel your way around, and your goal is to get to see the light, which is somewhere up there. But you got to get to that point. So you may walk into things, you may trip along the way. You're definitely gonna fall a couple times. There's times in an entrepreneur's journey where it just feels like all the walls are like caving in on you because there's pressure and there's stress of getting things out and on time and are you going to make these deliveries, or are you going to make these certain production times? And it's just one of those things, like you have to have people around you that are there to support you in a lot of different ways, but it's also better to have people who kind of experience their own trials and tribulations as an entrepreneur, so they can kind of help, in some cases, guide you through certain moments, because you can't, I tell everybody, you can't do everything by yourself.
No, definitely not.
You need other people.
Is there someone in particular that you've found was really pivotal in getting you to where you are now?
Oh man, we got like a whole list of people. I think there's several that I'll kind of mention because I don't want to leave nobody off. They'll be texting me like, "Hey, you didn't bring that.
You didn't mention me. You forgot
right.
me."
So first and foremost is my attorney Kent Goss. That dude has been with me. He's like my older brother. He's been with me since the beginning, like going back to our first recession days back in 2008. So he's seen the whole journey, all the ups and downs and the craziness. But that man has always been there. So I appreciate that. So from a legal standpoint, there's certain things you don't have to worry about, which you're going to need it as an entrepreneur. And then as far as like a big obstacle that I didn't mention earlier is the funding side.
Yes.
You're going to run into roadblocks there, unless you just have deep pockets, which most entrepreneurs don't. So, you have to have people who understand the different ways to get funding and be able to help you scale as your product grows, your brand grows. So we have my friend Morris out of Vegas. And
sorry, could you repeat his name? There's a little glitch.
Morris. Yeah, Morse. Morse has been a great guy. He actually helped us get our products in front of the Raiders for next season. So we're kind of
no small feat. Yes, definitely.
Hey, it's good to have him on your team. He can unlock some things in Vegas, and we'll see what happens next Super Bowl. where
Okay.
Soul Talks is in Vegas. So keep your fingers crossed.
Okay.
That'll a lot more of that.
Don't forget
story.
to send me an invite.
I'm trying to get my invite myself. No, but I think once we get closer to next year's Super Bowl, we'll be putting some stuff out that hopefully be fun and engaging for a lot of fans. And then from there, we have my friend Scott. He actually he's with the coconut water brand, Zigo. Scott's been with us on the beverage side since the beginning as an advisor. We actually just talked last week, and we got some cool ideas that we're looking to do. So, it's good having beverage advisors because without them, at least they can kind of guide you and tell you what not to do.
Right.
And the goal is to cut down as many expensive errors as possible, which you're going to have in this space.
Right, exactly, because you have to create everything and then sample it. How long does it usually take you actually from the beginning of an idea for a certain flavor, let's say, of a beverage to the final product?
Ooh, that changes just because of the way I am. And my graphic artist, I know she hates me. She don't hate me. We make fun of me and her are complete opposites. So I have ideas rolling all day, every day, and our phone line is open to all hours of the night. And she knows, it's funny because we're good friends now, and she knows when she sees me calling, oh, he got another idea, and she's like, hold on. So she tries to reel me back, but and then we butt heads on certain ideas that her 20-some years of experience in marketing and advertising minus mine, they come from two different worlds. So I infuse what I do in apparel design into the beverage, which may work and may not work sometimes. And for us, we figure out a way to make it work. And
I think that's important, that the people around you aren't always just yes people. I think, having a good, being a critical thinker and having that dialogue, I think is important for the overall development. So
yeah, it works for us because you never know how at the end when something comes together, and to kind of answer your questions about how long it takes. And so our process, it changes every time. So it takes us about 3 months to work on our flavors. Sometimes it can go quicker, but typically we're mixing multiple flavors together. So finding that right mixture is what takes time, because sometimes it may be a little too much, sometimes it may be a little too little. So you have to find that right balance. And then everything else, it kind of falls into place. So the overall process, like I said, for doing our Clearwater, it took us 9 months to develop this thing to the point where it was ready to go. And, we're excited about the way it tastes. We're excited about everybody's response to it. I'm super excited about the branding side of it, because I felt like I put my heart and soul into designing this look of this water. I didn't want it to just look like any old water sitting on the shelf. I actually created a blue soul man so that there's some type of identity to the water, and it falls in line with my whole brand, which is Lucky Soul, right? Which is all about the mind, body, and soul. So everything about Lucky Soul from the apparel side has a brand extension. So Soul Talks, Soul Armor, and each one of those brand extensions has something to do with the soul, which is how we got our blue soul man. So, but when you see it, which will be coming out on our new 12-pack boxes and our variety boxes, you'll be on there. And I think it's the first of, from what I know, blue soul man with water wings. His wings are made of water, yes. You'll see it on the box. You'll see it on the marketing and everything in stores. It's the first of its kind. When you look at it, it's going to look different, but it's all about making your soul smile.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I like that.
Yeah, we need good energy.
Definitely. And so let's go back to, we sort of segued there to the people who have helped you get here. So let's go back there.
Yeah. Oh, so I threw out Diane, our graphic artist, who she's kind of like the key person behind the look and feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to our ops person, Amy. I know she's probably watching this, so I haven't forgotten about you. She's been on multiple journeys, but she's been there working behind the scenes. And this was the year she finally came over and joined us. And it's kind of like we're at the we're a train that's just starting to move, and people are just now starting to attach their losers to it. So we're excited about where it's going. We got more demand now than we have supply, which
That's
is
always a good problem.
Everybody says that. It's a good problem, but it's a bad problem because logistics and supply chain is a problem right now, and especially in California, as people are moving from plastic to more alternative options. So we're working on a whole list of things to do, but at the end of the day, this is about helping your mind, body, and soul.
What's success to you?
Oh, that's a good question. You're over here trying to make me think now.
I'm sorry.
I think I look at it in this way. When it's all said and done, I want people to remember the brand and me in a way that we was able to leave something to help change people's lives. Some people look at success in the form of money, and I know money comes and goes. But if you can do something that lasts a lifetime, and multiple lifetimes, then I think that's more than enough success for me.
So like having a legacy, having people remember you when you're no longer here, sort of sounds like, yes.
Yeah, I left something behind that just impacts people's lives.
Right. And how do we find you online? How do we find Soul Talks?
Yeah, so if you go to soultalkswater.com, which is our website, and it's kind of funny because we were working on that with the FDA today.
What you can say, what you can't say, right? Like things like that. Or
yeah. They sent us some screenshots. We need to kind of update this. So
this is a no. Yeah, that's not so good.
Yeah, right. I know Amy, she's laughing because she's the one who actually did the updates. So we got those fixed, but you can find us on soultalkswater.com. Also on Instagram at soultalksusa. We got a bunch of giveaways coming. So we will be giving out samples of our water starting middle of this month, leading up to our Memorial Day weekend launch. I think there's some strategic giveaways with some bigger partners coming up the pipeline. Those announcements will be coming later. And just be on the lookout. We're always looking for fun, cool ambassadors who love water, not just any old water, but
like healthy stuff, trying to change your life and be healthier. So
water with health benefits. We will be doing some fun stuff in Vegas at Resort World. So there will be opportunities there coming up next month. It seems like we're always being involved in events.
So it's part of what it is. Yes.
There's more events to come. And like I said, our thing is to team up, enjoy the process, work with people along the way, and continue to build something that's better for you.
Great. Oh wait, and with your comic book and your TV show, where can people find more info on that?
So you'll be able to find the first drops of that on Slam Magazine's Instagram, Slam, I believe it is. Also, you'll start seeing some parts on LuckySoulUSA.com. There's a Johnny Bucket section. We got new designs coming. We have some cool NBA collabs coming. Can't announce those yet,
Right.
but there's some local ones. And for the most part, it's just going to give you a different look and feel from what most people are used to, from apparel to wellness products. And you'll get to see some interesting, probably celebrities jumping in along the way. We met a couple new friends
during Oscar week, I'm sure.
Yeah. So there may be some posts coming soon about the water. So,
always good.
You'll probably see that on our Instagram. It's going to be a fun ride. Like I said, we're super excited. We got something different, and we just want people to try it out.
Yeah. Memorial Day weekend. Do you have a location and everything already for that, or can you mention that? Or no, it's too early.
It's too early in the sense that we don't know
exactly what's going on. Okay,
it's going to be at Resort Worlds for a lineup they have for that weekend. I think it's a pretty big lineup. So I don't know if we're going to be there or if we have another event pending.
Gotcha.
So I'll know more in May when we get there as to how that's going to shape out.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks, Vinny. Thanks so much for sharing your story. I was really impressed by Soul Talks. I think when I sampled it did, like, I felt, I don't know, within like a small amount of time, like I did feel calmer, and I think it's a great product, which is why I wanted you to come on the show. And thank you for your time.
I got one quick question for you.
Oh, for me? Okay.
Yeah. Don't be nervous. I'm sure people are going to ask this. From your initial experience, you know how like most people, they don't necessarily like flavored waters because there's usually an aftertaste. What was your experience or what was your best flavor that you liked?
Oh my God, I don't remember. I
don't
remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember the one I had when I was there, but I do remember just there was no aftertaste, and there was like no film, because there's the aftertaste part, but then there's also like the film part sometimes that's left behind. And it just seemed really clean. But even if it didn't have those things, but even if it did have that, I still would have loved it, because it did make me just feel like more calm, like my brain wasn't racing as much as it usually does, and I just felt like calmer. So
I just wanted to ask that because a lot of people ask us, and sometimes when I tell them, they're like, "Oh, it's your brand." Of course, you're gonna say that.
Yeah.
When you hear from someone else, then it's different. Yeah.
Right. No, that's why I was very impressed with the taste. I was very impressed with, just how it made me feel, because as I said, I have my own health issues. So I'm always looking for those products that, will help me out without taking a bunch of, prescription pills.
So be on the lookout. We're going to get you some more. We got some new flavors that came out. Watermelon kiwi will be out in about a month and a half. So I'll be sure to get that to you. You're going to be pleasantly surprised with that one for sure.
Okay. Can't wait. Send me all the stuff. No, just kidding.
No, we definitely will.
Regardless, I would be happy to pay for it, because I really did like it. So I don't want people to think I'm just saying this for ulterior motives. So
yeah, did you pay her? No,
you did not.
All right.
So okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us today on Shout Out with Sage on Streaminn HUBB Radio, and see you next Wednesday at 4. And thank you, Vinny, so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a good